Hello, just a quick note for the early birds. Thanks for logging in early. We'll get started on the hour, but in the meantime, thanks for your patience. Hello again for you that are just joining. Thanks again for being early. We will get started on the hour, so thanks for your patience while we just wait for the top of the hour. All right, thank you, everyone. I can see people are still joining, but thank you for joining and thank you for being here on time. And welcome to our webinar entitled Build Better, Faster, Supercharge Your Developers in 2025. I think as we wait for people to join, I can begin the preamble. I'm Andrew, your moderator for this webinar, which will be presented by Robert Curley, our product marketing manager for Sonar Cube Server here at Sonar, and John Clifton, our principal product manager. Before I do introduce Robert and John, please allow me to just quickly review the essential housekeeping points that should be or are appearing on your screen now. The session will last around 45 minutes and will definitely include a good portion of time for Q&A at the end. You are invited to submit your questions at any time during the webinar via the Q&A box in Zoom and not the chat box. So don't wait, submit the questions at any point and we will start collating and responding to them, because behind the scenes, we have two panelists joining us who will be helping to answer those questions live during the webinar. They are Manish from our product marketing team and Chris from our product management team. So they are tasked with answering as many of your questions live as they can get through during the webinar. So as I say, do feel free to submit them as they come to mind. The session will be recorded and we will send out a link to that recording in the coming days. And finally, a heads up that we will include a number of polls during today's webinar. So do please participate. The more people that participate, the more interesting the results. And finally, at the end of the webinar, a short survey will pop up on your screen. We consider your feedback to be a gift. So thanks in advance for your participation and cooperation. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our presenters today. John is with our product management team and holds master's degrees in both mathematics and business, and brings over 20 years of diverse experience spanning software engineering, as well as people, project, and product management. He has worked with companies of all sizes, helping to shape strategy and deliver innovative solutions to complex problems. Robert is a software product manager leader with 18 years of experience working in the enterprise IT services management, IT operations, storage, and security markets. Having started his career in software engineering, he currently serves as product marketing manager at Sonar, where he runs the go-to-market planning for SonarQube Server. Okay, so to help us get warmed up, let's begin with a poll to get to know each other a little better. So you should see a poll on your screen now, which is, what kind of SonarQube user are you? Excellent. It looks like the answers are coming in thick and fast. And Robert, at that point, I will hand over to you to start the presentation.
Sounds good. It looks like we're a pretty good mix of new to SonarQube and haven't used it, to some community users and a few enterprise and SonarQube server users. So that's great. It's good to know. Before we get into the details of the release, which is what we're here to talk about and what we've been doing over the last little bit over a year, I want to cover a few key changes if you haven't heard about SonarQube and our products, and specifically about we've gone through a rebranding. If you're familiar with our products, we have had SonarQube for a very long time and SonarLint, and Sonar Cloud is one of the newer offerings. So it's basically the SaaS service of SonarQube. And it made sense to us to, as we look at our portfolio and expansion of the portfolio and growth of the company, that these are really all one in the same kind of product line. SonarQube. And so we rebranded them as SonarQube Server. So what you knew before as just SonarQube is now SonarQube Server. This is the self-managed. You can run it on premises. You can run it yourself in a cloud of choice. However you want to run it, you operate it, you manage it. It's yours to handle how you want to handle it. SonarLint is now SonarQube for the IDE. And so that is essentially our footprint into the IDE and our way of helping you as you develop code, give you help in finding issues and resolving issues within your IDE of choice. And Sonar Cloud, what was known as Sonar Cloud is now SonarQube Cloud. These three are the same products. We've made no changes to the products themselves, only in branding them to let you know that they're really essentially SonarQube and SonarQube Cloud are essentially the SaaS service and the software as a product, the same product, but just operated differently. We operate the cloud service for you as a SaaS product, and you use it and don't have to handle upgrades and maintenance and all that kind of stuff, all that overhead. Additionally, we've made a version scheme change to SonarQube. We were using standard semantic versioning, which is major and minor and patch releases. We've switched that now to a year and release number. So we're no longer using the last SonarQube release before this LTA was 10.8, and we've now switched to 2025 release 1, which is the new LTA that we're going to be talking about today. So just to note that version scheme has changed. And we've shortened the LTA cycle. Before, the LTA for SonarQube Server was around 18 to 24 months, and we will now be releasing LTAs every 12 months. So in this January timeframe every year, you will get a new LTA. So you'll be able to get that hardened LTA on a more regular and a more frequent cycle, which is, I think, exciting news, I hope, for people. And lastly, we've changed our free edition that was an edition of the SonarQube so which we call Community Edition, it is no longer an edition of SonarQube Server. It is now its own thing and its own deliverable, which we're calling the Community Build, and that will be released on a monthly basis. And getting back to SonarQube Server, the releases will still be every 2 months, so that doesn't change. So just a little bit of a refresher if you hadn't heard, maybe this is new to you, but just a few things before we get into the release. But let's get into the release now, and let's talk about what have we been doing over the last little over a year and a half plus now. Well, we've been making quite a lot of progress, and we believe that this is really a powerful set of advancements in code quality and security that we're delivering to you. We've categorized it in several categories, which I'll go into, and we're going to hit on some highlights of these. Obviously, within the time we have, under 45 minutes or around 45 minutes, I don't have time to go into everything because there's a ton of stuff packed into this release. We do have information online if you want to go online and delve deeper into the features of the release. We have some info on our website and in our docs on the details of the release. But let's go into these and hit the highlights. We have a bunch of new things, a whole bunch of new things around the AI enhancements that we've made to ignite your SDLC so you can use the power of AI-assisted coding tools in your SDLC. And we have made some progress in helping you make sure that the AI coding assistants are producing code for you that is valuable to you and that is free of issues. We've made some cutting-edge security innovations to elevate your security posture and meet your compliance needs. And we're supercharging your developer productivity. We want to maximize your productivity. We want to reduce your developers' fatigue and really help them up-level their coding skills, your developers' coding skills. Get everybody on the same level of understanding and skill for developing code. And then we've made significant strides in enterprise and operations. So we've got a bunch of new enterprise capability for you who are running the enterprise products. And we've made some really cool updates to being able to operate the platform in the ways that you want to operate and streamline the server operations for you. And then to finish it off, we'll get into our language support. So much happening with languages. We're really proud of both the expanding our support of new languages and new frameworks, but also the depth of languages and improving those and delivering more and more updates to existing languages, more rules for languages. So let's get into these and talk about these highlights. We're going to go into the AI area first, and we're going to hit on a few of the really big AI changes that we've made in our product to help you. And first off the bat here, we're going to talk about AI code assurance. So AI code assurance is an interesting problem that we've been hearing from our customers about. Well, when developers use an AI coding assistant and add AI generated code into the product and into our software code base, we're not sure when that code is executed, and if there's an issue with that code, we're not sure who really owns that, right? The developer who used it doesn't necessarily feel like in a traditional sense that they have taken ownership over, right? The AI generated it, they didn't generate it, the AI created the issue, the bug, and that's why it got entered in. And so we really wanted to help customers solve this problem of being able to take back ownership of the AI generated code. And so that's really what AI code assurance is about. We make sure that the AI generated code meets very high quality and security standards, both in new code and overall code. We also now automatically detect AI generated code from Copilot or detect the code usage from Copilot. And we enforce once a project has been the AI code assurance has been turned on for that project, we enforce a validation process. So we make sure that that project is scanned using a stricter quality gate, and make sure that that code meets a standard. And then once that standard is met, then we tag that project has passed, right? That it's been approved for by AI code assurance. And not only did we supply an out-of-the-box gate that's a Sonar way quality gate for AI code assurance, but you can now also use your own quality gate and flag that as for use with AI code assurance. So how does this work? I'm going to jump into a quick demo for you and show you it in action. Here's my instance of SonarCube server that I'm running, and you'll start to notice maybe some different things here if you're familiar with this interface. These are my projects that I have in my SonarCube server. These are all GitHub projects, and for instance, here you'll see this is a test project right here that has code that was generated by Copilot, and so it automatically flagged this project as containing AI code, but you'll see that I have not turned on code assurance yet for this. And then I've got these other projects where I flag them as manually myself, flag them as containing AI code, and one has passed code assurance and one hasn't passed code assurance. So what does this look like? How does it work? Let's go into a project that does not have code assurance turned on. And I'm going to go into, this is the overview page. And so I'm going to go into the project settings and show you here. You can see by default, we're automatically doing that check. If when it's set up, when you configure, when your admin configures that you can use the API on the back end to check that the Copilot was being used. This automatically will detect it. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flag this project manually. And you'll see once I flag it manually, it says, hey, do you want to turn on code assurance? But before I do that, I want to go back to the overview and I want to show you how the project changed. Now you'll see that once I flagged it, this tag is here that says contains AI code. And you'll see that code assurance here is turned off. And if I go back to the projects, you'll see that this would now have that you saw before where it contains AI code tag turned on. But let's go and turn it on and see what happens. So I'm going to go to my quality gate, and you'll see here that I'm using the default Sonar Way quality gate, which is not AI code assurance, made for AI code assurance. So I can either select the Sonar Way for AI code quality gate and turn it on, or I can use my company one. I've set up a quality gate and set it to be AI approved. And so I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to save it. And let's go back to the overview. And you'll see now it says that it's turned on and that it's passed. So now I've got my AI code assurance turned on, and according to the quality gate, that everything looks okay in this project. It's a really small project, so it wasn't very hard to pass. So, all right. So that's it for this. Let's get back to content here and move on. Okay, AI CodeFix. This is another really powerful AI tool that we've added in recently, and it's in early access, meaning we're building it up and giving you access to it for now, so to get feedback from you. And what AI CodeFix is in your software development process as you're writing code, and SonarCube Server finds issues. When you look at those issues, it's going to say, hey, we have a suggested AI fix for you. So instead of just going and researching the issue yourself, we will will suggest an AI-generated code fix for that issue. That with the click of that button, you can jump in and fix the code with that AI suggested code fix. So it's a really fast way to streamline your developers and get AI suggested fixes for issues in code. So it's really powerful. Covers Java right now. Covers Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, C#, Python, and C++. And we have the ability, if your company doesn't want to use the LLM that we have built in with this, and then you can opt out of it and make sure at the company level that you don't want to turn it on. And John, I think next up is a demo from you to check this out. So I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll start by looking at this project here. So this is Juice Shop. It's a public project and it is riddled with problems. So it's a nice one for us to have a bit of a play with. So we'll start by looking at the issues, and I'm going to grab this security one. So this is quite a nice issue to deal with because it's got a lot of the things you might see in some of the more horrible problems. You've got this particular problem. The issue is sort of added in at one point in the code, but actually becomes a problem later on. And you can see that in this trace here. And I know we've got a lot of people who are new to Sonar, so I'll just spend a minute on just sort of what this normally looks like. So in these sorts of things, you've got an issue, you get shown sort of where it lives inside your code. You'll go through why it's an issue and also instructions on how to fix it. So a good amount of background, and then typically as an engineer, I'd jump back to my IDE and I'd start making fixes. But one of the things we can now do, well, there are a couple of things we can now do. One is this open an IDE button. And what that does is it pushes information down to your IDE, to the Sonar Cube plugin over there, and it'll show you all of this information, but right in your IDE. So you've got it right next to the context where you're currently working. But I'm not going to show that. Instead, I'm going to show this generate AI code fix piece. All I'm doing now is this is being pushed to an LLM, and it's coming up with a suggestion for us. And the neat thing is, it's not just sort of the suggested fix. It's also an explanation of what it's done. And then you can see we've got this little button here for you fix an IDE, and I'm going to swap to my VS Code instance. And you can see this button, what it does is it pushes that diff, that suggested patch down into the IDE, so I can review it exactly where I'm normally doing my work, and then I can choose to apply it and then raise a PR. But there'll be more on that later. So back to you, Robert.
All right, thanks, John. That's pretty cool. That's really easy to use, and I really see I hope that people are as excited about it as we are and will use it and tell us what you think about it, because we really put a lot of effort into this and make it as simple and easy to use as possible. Closing out on AI, we don't want to forget about people who are developing AI and building machine learning into your apps. And so we've spent a lot of time on adding new Python rules, around 80, actually more than 80 new Python rules to support building, for data science and machine learning developers to build AI into your applications that is production ready. And we're supporting now the top AI libraries: PyTorch, TensorFlow, scikit-learn, NumPy, Pandas. And I think this is really exciting that we can also analyze Python code and Jupyter notebooks. This is something that has been a struggle for developers using Jupyter notebooks, a very widely used tool by ML developers. And we can now analyze the code that is embedded within notebooks. And so that's really, really cool. I think that's really neat. And again, I hope people use this and get a chance to see the value of what Sonar Cube Server has in helping you make sure that your AI applications or the AI in your applications is production ready. Let's move on to security. So much to talk about with security. We're going to hit on some highlights here. We've made a lot of progress with secrets detection in Sonar Cube Server. We now support over 160 secrets patterns for over 110 cloud services that are both private and public cloud services. So if you're not using a service, I mean, if you're using a service that we don't cover, it's very unlikely. I mean, so many that we cover here. You can create custom secrets. So when you build your own services, when you build your own APIs, and there's secrets built into those interactions, you can design your own custom secrets rule to detect those patterns when they're embedded in code, to make sure that you're not that your developers aren't exposing secrets in your private services. We've added new security reports. So we've got a number of security reports that we already support for being able to meet compliance with certain security standards. We've added CWE Top 25, both 2022 and 23. And new this year are STIG and CASA. CASA is particularly important for cloud application development, so that's pretty exciting. And then we've improved our deeper SAST solution. If you're not familiar with the deeper SAST solution, there's more info on the website. It's a unique capability that we have where we take our taint analysis, which is tracing through potential tainted data or what the risks of potentially tainted data through different layers of your code, and we drop down into that analysis into public libraries, so open source and public libraries that you might use. So we've pre-analyzed over 2,000 public libraries to catch any issues with taint analysis or with taint in using those libraries. So it's very, very powerful, deeply hidden issues that you would normally are very, very difficult to uncover, and we detect them in over 2,000 libraries. So that's pretty really, exciting and powerful, and we wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of this to help you as you use your open source and public libraries. And then we've done a ton to boost our Java and Python security to over 90% true positive rate. So a really highly successful rate on detecting security issues in Java and Python. We sync security issues to the GitLab vulnerability report. So if you're a GitLab user, you can see the issues that we find right in GitLab in the vulnerability report. As you make updates to the status of those, that gets synced back into SonarQube server. So that's really cool. Kind of a single pane of single window pane in GitLab. You can see all your security issues in one place and manage them there if that's how you want to operate or that's how you want to work. And then we've added tons of security for the Spring framework and Docker files. So boost there. And more to speak of, but we just need to move on because of time. And let's get to developer productivity. Wow, we've done a bunch of great stuff here. Faster scan times, faster first analysis when you set up your project for the first time. Ongoing scans are faster. We now only require we only load the required languages for a particular project. So that helps the scan times a great deal because the load time of the analyzers is greatly reduced to specifically the analyzers that you need for your projects, that the languages in your projects that you're using. As John said, we've got this cool thing where there's open the issue in the IDE. So right in where you see the issues in SonarQube server, you can click on those. It pops you right into the IDE, saves you time for looking for those issues within your code to find and resolve them. You can jump right into where the code is and resolve those. We've added architecture. This is really exciting. I'm not going to get into details of the architecture here, but we've introduced new architecture rules, and there's more architecture to come. So look out for that. And we've made some taxonomy changes. If you're a longtime user of SonarQube server, then we've made some taxonomy changes to make it more reflective of the way issues are. Because, for instance, an issue can have multiple qualities. Like an issue can be a security problem, and it can be a bug, right? And so before we would just focus on the most important or the most problematic reason why the issue is an issue, but now we can show you the severity levels by the qualities and when there are multiple qualities for a rule. So that's pretty exciting. And a lot more there, but it's tough to go into the details with this. I'll move on. Auto config of C and C++ projects. If you're a C and C++ developer, you realize there are tons of different compilers and tons of different tools to use for your C and C++ projects. And it's traditionally with SAST and code analysis tools, it's hard to set those up and configure them so that they work right. With this auto config of C and C++, we cover a very, very high percentage, over 90% of projects without needing to do any custom configuration. And so it's a lot easier to set up projects for C and C++. And that means we now cover more compilers than previously we said that we supported. So that's really exciting. It would be very unusual for you to have to go and configure. I mean, small cases, but very unusual now for you to have to go and manually do any configuration for C and C++. And lastly, I want to talk about this changes that we've made to our PR comments. So we inject comments right into your pull request and all the DevOps platforms that you use, GitHub, GitLab, Azure DevOps, Bitbucket, and we show you right in the comments how many issues in the PR that we fixed, or if they haven't been fixed, how many are not fixed. And we also show you this new thing, which is how many issues your team has accepted. So how many issues would potentially contribute to ongoing tech debt because they were accepted and the team decided not to fix them before you merge that. So it's a really powerful tool, again, embedded right inside the comments in your DevOps platform of choice. You can click on those comments. They open up SonarQube server to that issue or to the pull request, any issues in the pull request, if there are any, and then tying back to that open issues in the IDE, you can then click on that and go straight into your IDE. So it's a really nice fluid flow from your DevOps platform into your IDE to do issue resolution when you're in a hurry and trying to get your PR approved and merged. So that's really a nice workflow productivity problem that we've solved here. Okay, let's see what that looks like. And I think, John, we're back to you, right?
Oh, yes.
I need to stop sharing.
Okay, so let's continue the story of our issue. So recapping, we found a nasty issue. Sonar's helped suggest a solution for us. We pushed that into our IDE. We like the look of it. We've accepted the change, and now we've created a merge pull request. And I say I have, but Chris very kindly did this for us. So I'm in GitHub. Everyone who's used Sonar will be very familiar with this. For those of you who haven't, the way this works is that as soon as you create a pull request, Sonar scanning will happen automatically, and then you'll get this nice little pop-up. So this will tell you, so in this case, we're in good shape. The quality gate's passed, we're ready to merge. And what we can do now, from what Robert was saying, is we can look at the fixed issues, and you can see that the problem we found earlier and we talked through is exactly what we fixed, which is great news. Now, the other thing is that, as he said, you can now see accepted issues. So we don't have that on this particular pull request because we've not made any changes, but you can also see a sort of a running total of your accepted issues. So things that you've marked as potentially won't fix in the past are now called accepted. But these are things where we know it's a problem, but for whatever reason, we're just not going to fix it right now. And you can see that in both the new code view and also the overall code view. And you can see here we've got quite a range of things. And the reason we put this in is because a lot of the customers we speak to are really keen to give their teams autonomy, give them the power to make the decisions and make their code good. And one of the things that we like to do as part of that is make it so that the team leads, the team members are able to keep a track of just sort of the running debt total, and also just keep an eye in case anything, I mean, in this case, it's a whole variety of horrible things that we shouldn't have accepted, but this is just for a demo. But it lets you see the sorts of things that are being accepted, just so you can make sure that the level of debt is looking okay. And that's really the shape of it. And that's how sort of the journey from issue through understanding the problem, AI code fix, and then this pull request piece all fits together now in this new release. And I'll pass back to you, Robert.
Thank you. Thanks, John. I really like how the flow just is very seamless between when you're jumping from tool to tool, and I can see how that reduces a lot of time in trying to do this window switching from one to the next. So that's the part that I really like. Okay, let's move on to enterprise and operations capabilities that we've added. Again, these are highlights. A lot more there to dig into the details. If you want to find out online, we'll provide a link later to the online notes of what's in the release. Okay, so auto provisioning of sync of users and groups. This is really important to enterprise companies who are using IDPs. So we now will auto provision and sync the users and groups and permissions via SCIM with using SAML with Azure AD and Okta. Or if you're using GitHub or GitLab as your source of truth for your users and groups and permissions, we can sync with either of those. So however you operate, we'll support whatever's the source of truth for your users and groups. We can support that. So that's really cool. We've added some great new things for Kubernetes users who are operating the platform in Kubernetes. We auto-scale app nodes up and down to maximize your resource consumption or minimize your resource consumption, to make it as use as little resources as possible for you. So that's great. And now we also support Red Hat OpenShift. So if you're using OpenShift, a commercial Kubernetes like OpenShift, then we support that. So that's good news for OpenShift users. And we've made our upgrades easier for you new folks. That maybe that's not so exciting, but when you do get to the upgrade, you'll see that upgrades are faster than they've ever been. They run smoothly. We give you now an estimate time to complete an upgrade. So when you're getting ready to schedule your next upgrade of SonarQube server, we tell you how long it's going to take to complete that upgrade. And then we also do a countdown where we tell you how much time you have left in your upgrade. And then lastly, we tell you in the activity screen what kind of things changed, so there are no surprises once you finish the upgrade about why, what changed or why it changed. You can go take a look at the activity screen and see the information about that. So we're trying to make upgrades as smooth and simple as possible for you and predictable, so that you can schedule a right window to reduce any impact to your development teams, right? Minimize their downtime. And then we've made some really big strides in the security of the footprint of the server itself. You might not need to run in a FIPS enforced environment, but you will benefit from the security advancements we made in the server in order to be able to have the server run in a FIPS enforced environment. So that's really great. For users users who are using their own or using the server's private accounts, we enforce more strict password policies on those local accounts. And then lastly, for your integration with your email server for Microsoft SMTP, we support modern authentication using the email service. So that helps with that security. So we're improving the overall security of the platform itself, of the server. Okay, let's get on some even more exciting stuff. New languages. We've got 6 new languages you can see here, right? Dart has been requested for a long-standing time, longer than I've been at Sonar. So I know it's been a hot topic, and we're really excited to finally support Dart. And we've built quite a lot of rules around, so we give it a fully supported rating. And it's not just when we first released it, it was an early access because we just were trickling out some rules initially, but now it's fully supported. So for that, I think that's exciting news for developers who are building Flutter apps. We now support JCL, which is a language for orchestrating COBOL applications on IBM z/OS. So that's good news for companies who are still running COBOL apps and using JCL to orchestrate their COBOL apps. We support Docker 1.6, so Docker's, your Docker files are now scanned and analyzed for any issues that we find. We support Kubernetes and Helm charts. We scan Helm charts for any issues that that are could possibly be in your Helm charts, and then two infrastructure as code technologies we support are now Ansible and Azure Resource Manager. We've got a couple of more infrastructure as code. So if you're a DevOps team with DevOps developers who are writing infrastructure as code for orchestrating your infrastructure, we support finding issues in both Ansible and Azure Resource Manager. A whole bunch of new libraries and frameworks. We've now support for React, which is a JavaScript TypeScript framework for mobile app development. For .NET developers, we now support Blazor, ASP.NET, and even MVC. So basically, you support full stack web development in .NET and finding issues in those kind of applications. And then we've added MISRA C++ 2023. So that's the most recent MISRA C++ standard. If you're looking to meet, to comply with that standard for your C++ development. And then for Python, we now support Fast API, Graphene, and Django, very popular libraries for Python. And not to leave behind the actual languages themselves, we've made a lot of progress, like I said, in adding new rules to support the latest versions of the applicate or the languages that you use to build apps. So Java 22, Maven 4, Python 3.13. For JavaScript, we now support ECMA script 2022. We've added rules for C++ 2020, C++ 23 and C++ 20, and then we support C# 13 now and .NET 9. New C and C++. GitHub action is really exciting. So instead of having to manually write a GitHub action for C and C++ projects, we supply one out of the box for you that will work. So that greatly reduces setup of performing analysis when GitHub actions are run. And then now supports C23, TypeScript 5.6, PHP 8.4. Wow, so many. Kotlin 2.0, Golang 1.21, and Swift 5.8. So not only new rules for these, but also updating existing rules to support the latest of these versions of these languages. So a lot of new rules, and you would think with all the new languages, all the new rules, more and more to scan and analyze that our analysis would run more slowly. But no, I'm here to tell you that here's a customer's feedback that upgraded and already saw a project. This is a huge project, 2.3 million lines of code. And it was previously taking 3 to 5 hours to perform an analysis, and it dropped down to 15 minutes. And not only that, but the database, our database for the SonarCube server shrank in footprint from by about a little over a half. So that's really good news for you. And we're excited that even though we're building up more and more, giving you more and more, we're also improving the speed and accuracy of our analysis. So that should be even, I think, more reason for you guys to check out what SonarCube server is about. And at this time, I'm going to take a break and we're going to run a quick poll about what you heard are you most excited about? Okay. Answers are coming in. Pretty even across the board. AI is pulling ahead a little bit. No. We'll let it run a little bit longer. Getting some good response. Wow, a lot of good feedback. Okay, it seems to be tapering off a little bit. So, oh, well, yeah. AI CodeFix is a clear winner, and wow, faster scan times. That's really good to hear. That all that time and energy we put into faster scan times is something that's interesting to everybody. So that's good to know. Thanks for your feedback. And one last little bit here I want to go over, which is I'm going to put my Chris Levis hat on, and I'm going to look into the crystal ball, and I'm going to share with you some of our plans. Now, this is futures. This is roadmap. And so I want to just let everyone know that this is what we're thinking about. This is what we're planning, but we don't have any specific timelines for these. And also, as you know, the world is moving fast, and software companies are changing, and so things may change. So I just want to put that caveat in here. But these are areas that we are looking at and we're focused on. And we really are laser focused on how the changes that are happening in the SDLC with AI coding assistance and using AI within the SDLC, and how do you safely and responsibly use AI. So that's a big topic for us. And then we're still very much about bringing the security to the next level for you, your code security to the next level, and continuing to be leading the leading edge and the leaders of code quality. So let's talk about a little bit about what we're doing in these three areas. So primarily, we're looking at these three areas in the AI space, which is that you can bring your own LLM for AI CodeFix. Right now, we supply the LLM, but we heard a lot of customers saying, well, I have, and you know, most companies have their own like approved LLM, and they want to use their approved LLM. So that's what we're going to be doing for you, let you use your own LLM. And we're going to be expanding the auto detection of code from AI coding assistants. Right now, we're detecting the usage of Copilot. We're going to extend that to any coding assistant and being able to detect code from that. And then we're really looking at what's happening in the industry in terms of AI bots. And so we're really going to take a look at how can we use an AI agent to be your kind of coding partner to streamline your development workflow and to automate resolution of tech debt as you work, to kind of, if you will, be like a little bot that cherry picks issues and goes and works on those as you're in the area of the code that you're working in as you're developing. So that's really exciting. I can't wait for that to come out. And then for security, we are expanding our security solution so that we have a more complete protection, not just of your own developed first-party code, but also security in open source, using open source code and open source libraries. So we're expanding in that aspect. And we're really looking at security for mobile app development, having a hard look at that, right? There's lots and lots more and more development happening in the mobile area and mobile app development. So we're expanding our security even to be even richer in that area. And then secrets detection, we feel we're very competitive in the secrets detection capabilities that we have today. And we want to just beat everybody. So we're going to push forward and be the leader in secrets detection and far surpass what everybody else has. That's our goal. So moving on to leading edge code quality, and we're doing a lot more with the architectural capability we just released. So for example, we want to give you a visual roadmap or a visual view of your code base of what's happening architecturally, so you can see problem areas and explore that. You're going to be able to define what your architecture is, and then SonarQube Server will verify that all the code that's being developed meets your defined architecture. So kind of a guardrails on architecture to kind of keep your architecture on track. And then we are going to continue the detection of issues for AI and ML libraries for Python developers. So more to come in that area. And then we're going to get deeper into policy guidance to meet compliance. So we're really having a hard look at how do we help companies meet compliance and set up compliance policies so that the code that's written can meet those compliance policies. And then we're adding some capability for advanced quality gates so that can integrate with external sources so that you can pull in data from external tools that you're using and integrate those into these new advanced quality gates so that they meet the quality that of your own defined quality that you want. So that's exciting. And then, of course, lots and lots of new languages that are planned. And we are running out of time. Let's try and get to some questions. But before that, I think, I don't want to forget, go get SonarQube Server, right? We're excited about it. We want you to be excited about it. There's a couple of resources we'll drop into the chat here that you can get to, information about plans and pricing of SonarQube. You can download it or you can set up updating using Docker and Helm. So a couple of resources here for you to go and check out SonarQube Server and either try it out. There's links on the plans and pricing to try, or go ahead and purchase it. So I think we're back to you, Andrew, for our Q&A session.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. That was fantastic. John, great demos. Appreciate those. Just as we now move into as Robert says, a Q&A time, we've got a few minutes left to do that. I am going to put another question on the screen. So do quickly take a look at this one as I just gather some questions. Okay, let's see what we've got as you're answering that. And maybe, Robert, that's a good place to start, just taking a look at the responses to this question to kick us off, perhaps. Any comments as you see these results coming in?
Well, let's see. It's interesting where when we ask people what's more important to them, they say, well, everything that you have is important to us. That's good. That's winning out. Code quality, security, reporting, all the capabilities. Give us everything. So that's good.
Yeah, that's all. Okay, so let's go to a couple of questions. AI, not surprisingly. Oh, as I do that, by the way, if you want to be contacted to learn more about SonarQube Server, let us know. Okay, questions on AI, not surprisingly, are quite heavy. So AI code assurance and AI CodeFix, are they available with Developer Edition?
Yes, Developer Edition, they're available. You can, again, the CodeFix is early access. So there's more to come with that, right? Early access really means we're giving you kind of an advanced peek into the capability, and we should to get your feedback. So we would love for you to try it out. Both are in Developer Edition, Enterprise, and Data Center editions. Give them a try. Let us know what you think. We would love to be able to continue to build on what we've built based on your feedback. So check them out and tell us what you think.
Yep, great. Next one, I'm going to go thick and fast. Any integration with Azure DevOps, Bitbucket? Who'd like to take that one?
Shall I jump in on that?
Sure.
The short answer is yes. All the major DevOps platforms are covered. So that is GitHub, GitLab, Azure DevOps, and Bitbucket. So we aim to be where you are. That's the really important thing. We want to fit in with how you want to work.
Great, thanks, John. AI CodeFix. Does AI CodeFix need to communicate with the internet?
Yes. So it does require, it's a backend service, so it does require a network connection, external network connection to our backend service. So basically we have a backend service that we have an integration with an LLM, and we need to be able to, the SonarQube server needs to be able to communicate to that service to be able to perform the CodeFix suggestions. So yes, it does. That's just
Robert,
how it works.
Robert, I can add one comment
Yep.
there. Thanks for that. Today in early access, it does require internet access, as Robert said. We are expanding it to allow you to bring your own LLM. Once that happens, hopefully, you don't have to send your code to an external LLM. You can do it in your managed LLM.
Great, thanks, Manish. Another one on this time AI code assurance. Will we offer in the future any possibility of detecting other AI assistants?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I mentioned on the roadmap, that we're building our capability to analyze your code and detect code that's in your project that is from any AI coding assistant, or even if you just query code help from ChatGPT or something like that. So that's our plan. And so look out for more on that in the coming releases.
Okay, cool, thank you. Maybe just one more question. Does SonarQube IDE support Xcode?
I'll jump in on that one. Not currently, no. That is something we would consider, and it's worth saying we do have a public roadmap. So if there are items you're particularly interested in, it's worth jumping on there, and we can link it in the chat in a little bit. See what we've got coming, but also it gives you a chance to vote on things you particularly like, for instance, Xcode support. And also by voting, you'll get notified whenever we make a change. So as things move through the process, you can see what we're doing as we're doing it.
Fantastic, thanks, John.
And you can request for new things in the roadmap too, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Good point. The roadmap's the place. Okay, I think we probably have to cut it there. It's 5:02. John, Robert, thank you so much, and thank you to everybody who's asked questions. I know that Manish and Chris have been very busy behind the scenes. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to answer them all live, but just a reminder that our community is a great place to not only pose questions, but also to review those that have already been asked by your fellow developers. So check those out. Do also visit sonarsource.com for further information on our solutions, including our new SonarQube free tier, and to also check out information on any future webinars, meetups, and events. And lastly, just a reminder that there will be a survey that pops up shortly on your screen, and we appreciate your feedback. It's a gift. It helps us to improve. Okay, so let's leave it there, and I will just say thank you very much and see you all soon. Thank you.